We are here with Shannon Jones, singer-songwriter from Northern California, 530, and we are discussing some of the backstory and intention behind her debut music video for her original song, Beating Heart. So, first off, if you would like to describe what it was that led you to make this very heavy but very touching music video, your first.
Well, thank you for that very proper introduction. I liked that.
Of
That
course.
was super nice.
Next I'll introduce
I know.
Jeremy.
like how do I enter into that? Okay, so basically, so the question was why did I decide that I wanted that to be the first music video that I debuted with?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just felt like a heavy calling. It's not even a feeling. I was actually instructed by God to create the song in the first place. I was showering one day, and I don't very often have a lot of words from God, like where it's that strong, you know, like boom, you have to do this. But I was showering, and then, you know, he tells me, he's like, you must write about how you had an abortion. You have to write about that, and you need to share it with people. And this was probably about two years ago. So, you know, I created the song, and I wanted to be obedient, you know, and following through with completing the entire project. And having
She's proud of you.
right, and having visuals to go with it, because, you know, like when you create a song, like when I created the song, you know, of course I'm like all jazzed about it, you know, and I see everything, how it goes, you know, as far as the storyline goes, and I can imagine everything because it's my story. But if you just show the song to someone and they're like, oh, that's good. You know,
you wanted details of your experience.
They don't.
Specific things.
Exactly. So they don't get the full effect that I want them to have whenever they're experiencing, like, the visuals of what's real, of what is really real, you know? Like,
Yeah.
not just to say, like, I've gotten some responses that are very, like, it's very strong for some people and really kind of graphic. But, I mean, at the same time, it's like, that's real. Like, that's real life, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's what, having an abortion, it's a very graphic thing that's happening, and traumatic. And, you know, that's what I basically wanted to do, is get that. Once I got that message out, I would feel a lot more comfortable about, you know, creating more visuals for my other songs. But this particular one, it was like my obedience to God.
It was pressing.
Following through, yeah, way more than anything else. I'm like, if I don't get this one done, it just makes you feel like you're incomplete. You know, I'm sure you can relate to the feeling of feeling incomplete when a project is not completed.
Yes. And I know I myself, and I'm sure Jeremy, we're both very impressed with how you were like, I'm gonna make this. I know that there's gonna be people that are not glad to see this. It was gonna be a polarizing, you know, potentially controversial thing. And we are glad that we could be a part of something that is honestly very brave, because you knew there was gonna be backlash, and there has been backlash.
You know, and I mean, I chuckle at the backlash, but I just chuckle because it's like, yeah, of course I knew that was gonna happen. And yeah, this is Natalie, by the way. This is my daughter.
Sweetie.
She's 2 months old. So, you know, I really appreciated how open-minded you guys are, you know, at trying new things, and, you know, whether or not you support, you know, what the song is about, just the fact that, like, you're willing as, you know, another creative to contribute to, you know, this project and see it through to, you know, completion and everything. So, you know, I really do appreciate that. And you guys had awesome ideas too, like, you know, all the different angles that you're able to get, not putting my ugly face in the crying scenes.
We'll share some of those here shortly. Everyone does.
Yeah. But, you know, I really appreciate it, you know, more than you understand, you know, because I do get it that, you know, not everybody is for it. And, you know, and it's like you can't win everybody over, and that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to be real and, you know, try to get through to people that, you know, maybe are on the fence about the matter or are currently, you know, experiencing the same thing that happened to me. You know, like I was 19 and I didn't have money, you know, a lot of money. You know, where was I working? I think I was working like 2 different jobs, and my partner at the time, you know, was programming, didn't earn any income yet, and you know, it was a decision mutually, honestly, like, we were both like, oh no, we don't want a baby, like, we don't want, no. And it was so set, like, I was so set in that decision, you know what I mean? And, like, all the way up until, obviously, after I did it, right, you know? And when I was when I went to Planned Parenthood, and that's where I went to Planned Parenthood, and, you know, was hush-hush about it, didn't tell anybody, and wanted to get, I believe at that clinic, I don't know if they did the manual abortions or whatever it's called, where they, like, physically pull it out.
Surgical, right?
Surgical, yeah. So this was just, you know, you take pills, so I think that's called like a chemical abortion. I don't know all the technical terms, so, and I don't want to butcher it by trying to explain it. But I just know that they gave me pills to take home. I was, you know, talked to in, you know, like it's not a counseling session, but they're just making sure, like, are you sure this is what you're wanting to do, right?
Right.
And I recall the lady that interviewed me was like almost full-term pregnant.
Oh wow.
And I couldn't even look at her. I knew what I was doing was wrong. Like, it felt initially like wrong, but I was like, yeah, you know, like, whatever, you know, like, this is just something that I need to do. And, you know, and she's explaining this to me, and I'm thinking, like, dang, like, this is, like, she's gonna talk to more women today, or how, you know, throughout until she goes on leave, maternity leave, and it's like, you know, all those women are probably going to have those same feelings that I had of, like, oh my gosh, like, here's this lady, she's going to have her baby looking like this little person eventually, and here I am making this decision, and, you know, you just have to, like, I wiped that clean and was like, you know, like, oh no, this is what I want to do, like, for sure. And this was before I believed in God, you know, I was not a Christian at that time. And yeah, so then I go home, and, you know, I take all the pills, you know, the order you're supposed to do it, and my boyfriend was there with me, and he didn't, you know, think that there was going to be any type of, like, emotional response, and I didn't think so either afterwards. But, like, from the moment that, you know, like, I was sitting on the toilet, we depicted it in the shower in the video. Just, yes. I mean, I really didn't want to be sitting on the toilet. I mean, you can't really see what's going on. But yeah, like, providing the visual is a lot easier that way than me sitting on the toilet. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's a judgment call. I'm glad we made.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so, like, are you crying? Might have have to pause the story and go get a binky because I didn't bring your binky in.
We are selective about what we'll depict in videos, and you know, but what you were bringing to the table was real. It was real, vivid experiences that we felt could be helpful. There was merit in bringing it out there and sharing it with people that on the fence or in your position and had already gone through with something like that. So yeah, it wasn't you weren't lying, you know, to try to get a point across. You were sure to stick to what you felt led to share from your own real experiences. So we really had no question, I mean, about whether or not we were going to do this. We were glad to be a part of something like this because it's real and it's healing and it's helpful for others.
Nice. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, that's what's cool about, you know, being musicians and even, you know, painting or drawing. It's like you're telling a story.
Yeah.
You're telling a story of what really has happened. I mean, you could be a storyteller and tell some fictional story, but that's, you know, music, like we had talked about before, is like it's a form of therapy for musicians.
Yes.
You know, to be able to work out, okay, how do I really feel about this situation, and then it encapsulates that idea or that experience that you had in your life, and then it just saves it forever. You know, you can always go back to it and reference it and be like, I remember when that happened. And that's how I worked through the trauma or grieving process or all the emotions that come with whatever situation that was. And that's something I really needed to just resolve in my heart and my spirit and be able to just forgive myself, you know, for doing that.
Yeah.
Because it, you know, again, like it took me about 5 years to even be able to tell anybody that I did it and then, you know, write about it. So it's like, it was something that, you know, God had to work through me, through my heart, and to show me, you know, your child is, you know, is in heaven waiting for you, and you know, you shouldn't be ashamed of what you did, because I really didn't know what I was doing. You know, I didn't understand that was really going to be a person. You know, you hear that it's a cluster of cells, that it's not fully a person until it gets to this certain developmental stage, etc. I don't know like what developmental stage that is, but still it's like you hear that. Yeah, and you know, so coming back around to, I think, where I stopped with the story of when I was experiencing this was, you know, I was sitting on the toilet and you get like this sudden urge to go sit on the toilet because you feel like something's gonna fall out of you, you know? It's kind of like if you're menstruating a little bit, but heavier, and you get more, like, you get the crampy type feelings. But I remember feeling this like electric shock from the top of my head all the way down to my toes. It was just like, and like this wave of awareness came over my vessel after, you know, it had fallen out of me, and I'm still sitting on the toilet, and I'm sitting there and I go, you know, like, what did I just do? You know, like I felt so like immediate right after it was done, like this other part of an awareness came over me, and just like that was not what was supposed to happen. You know, I don't know if it was like kind of like birthing a child, basically, on a smaller scale, obviously. And I think what had happened, I mean, I don't know what had happened, but my interpretation of the end result of that was like, I think this maternal awareness like came over me, and I was supposed to have a baby, but it didn't, you know? And I was so in shock after, you know, that had happened, and I just started like bawling, crying, just immediately in immediate regret. And you know, I went to my boyfriend and I was, you know, crying to him, and he's holding me, and even him, he's like kind of like shocked that that's happening to me, and it's like, it's okay, you know, he's like trying to help me and everything. but you know, I had to take that decision that I made and compartmentalize it and just forget about it, because you know, life goes on, and I didn't want to tell anybody that, oh yeah, I was pregnant and that's why I wasn't going to work for that time. I like lied. If you're watching this, I lied to you and I told you I had to go get some type of surgical procedure done. And I remember it was, I was working at a cafe and there were eggs like on the, like we had to make salads for people.
Oh.
And there were like boiled eggs in the little container, and I smelled it and I about threw up. And this was when I was still pregnant, and this was right around the time I found out I was pregnant, you know.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, ugh, like I wanted to throw up, and my coworker, she's like, oh, what are you, pregnant or something? And I was like, you know, like maybe, but I didn't say that, you know. So yeah, like I don't know where I was going with that, but
This was obviously a very heavy experience that you
Yeah.
kind of put away for a while.
Oh,
You
yeah.
felt you had to.
I compartmentalized it, yeah. So, and that's what happens, like, with traumatic situations. I imagine you can relate. Anybody can relate, really. Like, as a human being, we all can relate with certain things, you know, traumas, where it's like, I mean, life has to continue, and, you know, I couldn't even wrap my head around trying to process it and grieve and everything. I just, like, I had to keep going with life, and it took me years to be able to grieve about it, but you know, I'm here now, and like, thank God I was able to have a baby, and this child was planned. You know, I'm now married, and you know, we prayed about our, you know, even getting married, and prayed about having a baby, and it was in, you know, it was in our path from God, you know, and yeah.
I hope that making the video did help bring.
Oh yeah.
It's not gonna erase what you've been through, but hopefully it gives you a sense of having addressed it in a healthy way, and done what you felt called to do with your story.
Right. I mean, yeah, I just hope that, you know, with having this story put out, and people who maybe, I mean, I can't change everybody's mind, but it's like, you know, you get to hear, what's that analogy where you get to hear it from the horse's mouth or whatever, I forget what it's called, but it's like you get to hear it directly from me that this is like, yeah, like not propaganda where you're saying this isn't, I am not funded in any type of way from any organization that is anti-abortion. I mean, I know people that, you know, are anti-abortion, and they work to like for 40 Days for Life, they help that organization, and I know people who work at A Woman's Friend, but those are people that I got connected with after the fact and wanted to, you know, learn about, okay, so what can someone do if they're in this similar situation, you know, whether it's a man or a woman, because oftentimes dads are also affected in this situation as well. Like, this isn't just something that moms feel,
Sure.
you know. So yeah, I mean, this is all just a way for people to maybe get more clarity in the subject. So I do plan on after our commentary having JC from 40 Days for Life, you know, to kind of give a testimony about, you know, her story, how she came to 40 Days for Life, and then also sharing with, you know, men and women how they can, you know, get resources. I mean, there's like churches will raise babies. I mean, there's adoption, obviously. There's just so many ways and so many resources that if you're not closed up and longing to just be isolated, I mean, if you just bring up your situation to people that have these resources, I mean, there's just so many people willing to help. I mean, it's crazy. I can't go back, and because I don't have the same mindset now as I did then. You know, I was very like isolated, kept to myself person, didn't want to share my feelings with anybody, didn't want to like open up and have a community of people that I can rely upon and lean on whenever I'm going through hardships, you know what I mean? And but now I have that, and now I understand that if I would have had that then, that I might not have made that decision, you know? And so I'm not looking to, you know, convert someone to being a Christian, but there are a lot of really great Christian people that would be more than happy to raise, you know, someone's child.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just straight up. And then there's people who can't even have babies. And they would love to have a little newborn baby. You know, I mean, there's the possibilities are endless as to where a child could get placed. And, you know.
Pray it's a good spot.
Exactly.
You know, do some research and find the right people.
Exactly. So yeah, I hope that explains everything.
Yeah.
Fairly thoroughly. I did have fun getting to know Jeremy a little bit more in this.
He's a man of few words.
Awesome. Yeah.
But he's always going upstairs.
Yeah. And he had a lot of really good ideas. And he's so caring.
Yeah, I really appreciated it working with you.
Oh, I did the same too. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I had no idea how funny he is. He's so like quirky and comes up with things on the fly, and you're like, whoa, like you just came up with that, okay. Like I didn't think you would say that, but that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's too cool. And then Francis, you always have great ideas, and you're thinking on the fly.
Yeah.
You're great at thinking
So
on the
we
fly.
have to do when we're shooting, because you don't always know what a location's gonna look like. You don't always know what resources you're gonna have.
Yeah.
But you had a pretty clear idea of what you wanted.
Yeah, I really wanted to be able to, like, okay, they're gonna come here, so I need to make sure that, like, I have everything written down, or at least close to it, and, you know, kind of the gist of what I want. And obviously it's not going to be 100%, but that's what makes it really cool, is, like, you know, sometimes you'll come up with things to add in, and I'm like, sure, like, let's just go with that. And, you know, you take from all different, from different sources, and it makes it, like, probably better than I even thought it was going to be anyways, like, with my initial thought, you know.
It's good to get other creative people in the mix, for sure. I'm glad you like that, you know, what we did with it, and how, you know, that we did justice to your story.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to having future projects and being able to collaborate with you guys on it.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, way
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
And we had fun with it. This was our first
That was
music
cool.
video that we ever made for another artist.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like we learned, you know.
Me and the baby are nervous. Okay.
3,
Okay.
2.
Oh no.
Go for it.
Being I used to be one, but not ever again.
When I call your name, just look towards, like, Nick. Shaquisha?
That's not gonna be your name, is it?
Well, we're disguising. It's like Shannon. Oh, Sheila. That's right. Okay. That's right.
Yeah, because that's a little edgy. You're already playing the cholo. And she's trying to be a chiquila.
I ain't in that.
All right. Sheila. I'll remember this time.
Okay.
Hi, JC.
Hi. Hi.
How are you?
I am blessed.
I'm so happy to be here with you. I'm glad I get to spend time out of your really busy schedule.
Well, you are here on the sidewalk with me,
Yeah,
so
that's right.
it's I appreciate you making that sacrifice and you being here because it's so valuable.
Yeah, so what exactly do you do here?
I get to equip and empower women to be able to choose life for their babies here. That's like the biggest and most blessed part of what I do here. I get to distribute information that people may not have.
Right. Yeah, I can recall that, years ago when I had an abortion, I didn't know that there were other options, other alternatives. I was just kind of having that narrow vision of, oh, this is it, this is the only choice that I have. So what are some other options that women have in the Yuba Sutter area that you're aware of? Like, where could you navigate them?
Well,
deter that from
there's
happening?
4 of them that come right to mind, and that's Peachtree Clinic, Ampla Health, Harmony Health, and Immediate Care, which is part of Peachtree Clinic. So if somebody needs like STI, STD testing, they can go to Immediate Care for that, and they take people on a walk-in basis. And another thing that I do around here is a lot of smiling and waving. Like, you just smile and wave.
Right. Yeah, you're just having a presence here, and you're here Monday through Friday?
Correct.
And what times?
8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay, so basically the entire time of normal business hours.
Open hours, yep.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I really got to commend you for all that you do, because, I mean, you're having such an impact, and you're planting that seed of, there is a different choice, a different option, that a different way that men and women can take together, because it's not just the women that are going to suffer the consequences afterwards if they decide to, end the life of the child. It's also men as well. So I really appreciate that. Now, how did you get to be, in this position of, where you're at now? It's kind of your testimony.
How did I become pro-life? Become so pro-life?
Yes.
So thank you. I became so pro-life because I am, and it's hard to say right now, because what came to my mind is not a way that I generally put it, but what came to my mind is that I'm a full-time murderer. Like, that's what the truth is. I don't go around telling other people that they're murderers, but my reality is that I am a 3-time murderer, and that's between me and God. But that's what I know for sure. But I've been healed, delivered, and set free by Jesus Christ. So the prison that I was in my own mind for more than 25 years, I am free from. I am free. I know that God's word is true when it says that He will wipe away every tear, and He has changed everything for me. I don't live in guilt and shame anymore. And the truth is that most of that time I didn't live in guilt and shame then. For many, many years, I don't know how much of it I did live in guilt and shame, but many, many years I did not. But because I was in denial, because I was running from the truth, because I was denying the truth, because I was rationalizing and justifying and trying to make what I did wrong right, when there's no way to do that, no way to justify it, no way to rationalize it. And the truth is that I did not trust God. The bottom line is I did not trust God. I didn't trust Him with the outcome of life. Full of fear.
Right, and then just hearing that, those are the same feelings that probably most, if not all, women would have. Is that guilt, that shame, being fear, not trusting the Lord. And not even, maybe a lot of them that are making these choices don't even know the Lord.
Right.
And that's what, us having this conversation right now is in hopes that, someone who may not know Jesus, may not know God, will hear this and know there was a time that you and I, at our own different walks, we did not know Jesus. We did not know God, and we were, worldly people thinking that we were going to rely upon our own understanding, upon our own will, and our own logic, and that can only take you so far, and it's really going to let you down in the end, because you're going to have so much hurt, shame, fear, all these things, and you have to take all of that to the Lord, and you have the Lord heal you in those areas. So once again, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me, and I hope that you're just going to keep doing what you're doing anyways, and I hope that maybe some of these women will see this and come and talk to you.
I hope they will too. You can find me here most days. Most days, especially during campaign time, and that is in the spring and the fall. So we're here 40 days in the spring, beginning on Lent. It lines up with Lent. In the fall, we also have a year-round campaign where we're here try to be here at least one day a week throughout the year. So maintain a presence. But our hope is that we get enough people out here and enough volunteer base consistently that this place closes down and that no more abortions happen in Yuba City.
Right. So how can people contact you if they're unavailable to come see you? Is there a way that they can contact you?
They can find me on Facebook. It's JC Hallelujah Carpenter on Facebook. Or my email is lovewarriorjc@icloud.com. lovewarriorjc@icloud.com. You can connect with me on Facebook. Facebook probably will be it.
Alright. Well, thanks for sharing everything, and I love you.
Love you. Is that it? Yep. Okay.
So this has been an interview with Shannon Jones, fabulous singer-songwriter from the 530, discussing some of her visions and inspiration behind her debut music video for original track Beating Heart. And this is Jeremy Dean Martin, and we are very excited to see what Shannon comes up with next.